Hey Unk fam, welcome back to another episode of the Hey Unk podcast, the podcast where we dive deep into real conversations with your favorite uncles. No fluff, just straight talk about navigating this crazy thing called life. I'm your host, Uncle Shannon, and today I'm joined by my co-host, my man, Uncle Mark Atwater, and the legend, Uncle Stewart.
What's up?
Hey. So today we're diving head first into the deep end on the topic we all deal with on a daily basis, adulting. We'll explore the good, the bad, the ugly of what it means to be an adult in today's world. From the mundane daily tasks to the exciting freedom of doing what you want, when you want, and the inevitable, I don't want to adult anymore. We'll cover it all. And we'll dive into the unique challenges parents face in dealing with their children growing up to adulthood and sometimes getting far too involved in their lives. So strap in, get ready for a great conversation. Adulting, from growing to being your own. What's up, fellas?
What up, man? What's going on?
I don't know.
Cross the sea.
Man, like, that's what's happening. You know, this topic is going to be an interesting one today because, like I said, we all have to deal with it, whether you want to some days or not. So as we get into this conversation, I want to start off from the beginning. When did you realize that you had become an adult? What was that aha moment? Damn, I'm grown.
I think for me, it hit me after I graduated from J. Yes,
That's right.
to Golden Bulls. Anyway, so after I graduated, I went home for about a year and got a job, but I knew I didn't want to be there. You know, I was staying with my parents, but I wasn't staying with my parents. So I was, just pillar to post it for a while. But then I had an opportunity to get back to Charlotte. And I came to Charlotte with a job and no place to stay. And that was the aha moment. Like, oh, I got to figure this out. And so fortunately, I, came to some familiar ground. Had some really amazing friends that I stayed with. Shout out to DY and Kaz Money for hosting me for about 3 weeks. They had an empty apartment.
Oh, my bad.
They were never there.
That's true. That's why I say I
posted up. Yeah, I posted up there for about 3 weeks until I found me a spot. And, nobody was helping me do that. The parents, mom would usually step in and help with that. And I was like, okay, it's real. So I think I know that was my aha moment.
My aha moment came after graduation, back home, got me this car my mom used to help me with. And so you get that job, and that bill came across and she said, boy, look at that bill, ain't it? That's a nice thing right there. That belonged to you. And then I got my student loan bill. I was like, okay, this is real. We are officially in this thing now. So when the bill started smacking you, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was official. Yeah. I think for me, it was when I was in the Navy and I came to the realization that I never, ever want to let another man have more say over my life than me. And in order for me to get out of that situation, I had to figure out something else. I just couldn't do it anymore. So, it really made me grow up immediately. So I feel you on that. Yeah. And as you're thinking about this transition, because some people move into it seamlessly, others stumble and some others fall when they're having to make this transition. Do you think it's because when you're an adult, it's on you and some people can't handle that pressure?
The one thing that I took into adulthood was gotta pay your bill. Gotta pay your, I mean, that echoed in my head like religiously. That's because my mom always preached that.
Right.
Son, the only way you're gonna be able to get stuff is if you pay your bill.
Right.
You have good credit and they'll let you get stuff. So that was it for me. I just knew that I had to make enough money to pay these bills that I'm creating by moving into my own place. I had a car, so I didn't have to worry about that. But, as I progressed, it did help me when I had to buy a car. I didn't have any money. I just went in there and basically signed my name Same with a house. I bought a house and my name was good enough. I've used about $3,000 to buy a house. So that's the one thing that made it easier for me to make that transition because I knew the bills were going to come and I expected them to come. So I was prepared for that.
Yeah, and you see a lot of people may fall into that trap early on and don't understand how some of those early mistakes are going to haunt you.
Oh, no doubt.
Right. And,
No doubt.
and keep you from getting where you want to be. So that's excellent advice. And yeah, you might have to slow your roll when you get your first job. You may not be able to get the nicest place.
Right.
You may not be able to get a brand new car. But those things are setting you up for more success in the future. I think it's learning, like we talked about before with Perry, learning how not to live above your means. That is something that is very difficult to do when you're young. You know, I'm used to, it's for those who had parents who, you know, was there to support them and so forth. You feel like, you know, I can still do the things that I used to do. And then all of a sudden now you find yourself in a situation where, wait a minute, you know, yeah, I got this apartment or, you know, I got this nice car, but now I got to pay for it, you know. And I think that's where trouble starts from an early age sometimes. Yeah. Now, what was that one stupid thing you did that then life smacked you upside the head and made you learn that lesson? And I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
So with my car, old Bessie. Yes, sir. Right. Messed around. Insurance lapsed. Okay. Let one of my boys, when we were up in Newport News, let one of my boys borrow my car. He crashed my car. No insurance. He ain't had no insurance because he didn't even have a car. Right. So now I'm stuck. I got to figure out, okay, I still owe money on this car. So I got to keep paying for it. It's tore up. But do I spend and try and find a couple $1,000s at that point just to get it roadworthy so I have a car back or not? And I'm in the Navy. I'm not making a lot of money. I won't have $1,000 laying around. So that was my first real life lesson about, to your point, I didn't pay that bill because I was doing something else. I made a life choice. Life said, really? Okay, well, let me show you. Cause and effect, baby. Let me show you. Yeah.
So in that same vein, I did something that I promise you any of us would not do in our right minds. One of my partners in crime, went to high school with, still one of my boys to this day, asked me to co-sign for him for wheels.
Wow.
You know, I'm thinking, okay, he just need me to get it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that I was equally responsible for it, and my credit was impacted until someone whispered in my ear, my mom, son, don't you ever do nothing like that. That's stupid. She used that word, and that trans in my spirit. Fast forward a couple of months later, he wasn't making payments. So they start calling me. Yo, I'm calling him now. Hey, man, you need to get this handled.
That's right.
Because these folks calling me, and if you late, that's going to mess up my credit.
That's right.
So then we went through this like 2-3 months in a row. I was like, yo, I'm coming to get him.
That's right. You repo man now.
I'm coming to get him. I went and got him. And I sold him because I just went ahead and sold him and paid it off.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't keep dealing with that. And
Yeah.
I knew it was going to have a negative impact on me. So I had to handle that. And from that day going forward, I was like, no way, no how. I don't care who it is. I am not co-signing for anybody.
And the thing that kills me about that is if you are him, right, where is the loyalty or the personal responsibility to your boy or your family member or your cousin or wherever you borrowed that money from?
Because I know me and my spirit won't let me rest if I let you down like that.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
Right.
And you wouldn't even have to tell me no time. I don't care if something else I got going on has to be sacrificed in order for me to make this right so I don't mess you up. Because I might need to come back to the well.
That's right. That's right.
And if I can't, and I'm cutting off I'm cutting off something else I might be able to do in the future because I ain't taking care of this business right here. So,
and for something you don't really need.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was just something you wanted.
Accessory.
Yeah. So for me, it's interesting you say that. I learned the hard way as well. Apartment I had in college, when I got ready to move, took a job in Greensboro.
Where was you was in?
I was in Charlotte before, after I graduated, for a minute. And
Community property?
excuse me, the community apartment that I was living in. I can barely hear you. So the community apartment I was living in, sure, my name was attached to it, and I left my boy, and I left the lights on my name, the whole nine. And they thinking of it. It's my boy. He's gonna make sure I'm squared away. When I got ready to get my own, all of a sudden they started talking about deposits and stuff I owe. What are you talking about? I'm on 10. Man, I had to pay a deposit plus a previous balance. I hunted him down. But anyway, yeah. So you learn from things like that too. Yeah. Adulting. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
And it stay with you too.
Yeah.
It just don't go quietly into the night.
Does not.
To get attached to that credit report,
which is organized crime. But yeah,
man, I ain't gonna even get started.
Yeah,
the IRS, everybody's in your
insurance. Oh my God, organized crime. Yes, sir.
Taxes. No, never mind. I ain't gonna. Yeah, that's not what this about.
It is not what this episode is about. But
you do pay taxes on everything.
That's right.
I'm sorry. No,
yeah. Yeah, adulting. And North Carolina will nickel and dime you to death on fees and everything. But again, it's adulting. Yes, right? Adulting. And so as you transition, now you're adult, got your own place, you living your life.
Right.
How do those other kind of life decisions start creeping into that? Right. We talk a lot about those pivotal moments we've had throughout our lives and as we've been coming up. But part of adulting is those kind of mundane, everyday decisions, everyday moves you have to make that I don't think a lot of people pay attention to, right? And how much they may impact what's going on in your life. Like deciding when to switch a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, are we going to take this trip or not, right? So, I think part of what I want to get to is, when does the responsibility end and the fun begins, right? Because part of adult is fun. I can say what I'm doing today, and can't nobody tell me I'm not. Well, my bank account might be able to tell me I'm not, right? So you get to drive your own destiny, but you also have to balance that with the responsibilities you have. So kind of how has been your approach or experience with that? So I think preparation and learning from your mistakes is one of the things that helps you. And what I mean by that is, from my mistakes, learning, okay, I can't take this trip. Why can't I take this trip? What did I do to prevent me from taking this trip? In terms of not having bad habits, things like that helps you for the future of saying, okay, I know what I want to be doing by now. What did I learn from what took place before? And it's like, in our earlier years, we would take some trips, but we couldn't take a lot of trips. And I learned as I got older, okay, I want to be with my boys and, our spouses and our kids doing their things. So I have to position myself to prepare me for those types of things that I would love to be able to do without the hindrance of not paying this bill or, my credit not being where it needed to be and all those types of things. So your comment reminded me of a conversation we actually just had. And it's funny, I had a similar conversation with me and my grandfather back in the day. But you talked about talking to several of our nieces and nephews about what have they learned, all of this, and what was their comment? So, of course, the first comment that they brought up was, I would have saved my money. And I jokingly made a comment, what money? Well, and it's like each one of them made a comment of going through school, because the ones I spoke to, they are college graduates and so forth. Well, between parenting, with their parents and just working jobs, not real jobs, they realized, had I not taken that trip, had I not went to, this excursion and doing certain things, and saved that money would have really benefited me in terms of looking to invest in certain like properties and like linking up together, say with their close friends, cousins, nephew, So those are some of the things that I heard and makes a lot of sense.
And it does, but I'm going to go on the flip side.
Sure.
Because I used to think the same way. When I first got out of the Navy and started college, I was having a very similar conversation, me and my cousin Sean, with our grandfather. And Hoss looked at me because I said, man, all this time we were overseas, I should have banked that money and blah, blah, blah. And he just paused and looked at me and said, did you have a good time? Absolutely, I had a good time. He was like, then that's what that money was for, right? So you also have to give yourself a little bit of grace because you have to live.
Right. I think it's the balance though that needs to be there. So yes, I feel you on that. Because there's tons of things that, of course, we did in college I would never change. Right. You know what I mean? So, right, yeah.
Heck, could none of us afford to go to Atlanta on that trip?
That's right.
That was a pivotal moment.
Epic moment.
Hey, we figured out a way to make that one work.
Figured it out.
Yes.
We figured it out. And here we are today because we figured it out.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So now as we've transitioned, we're older, right? And now we're seeing our kids come up and the things they're going through, the life lessons that they're learning, right? What have you experienced or with your kids making that transition to adulthood?
So for me, it's some things learning that time waits for nobody. Time is important, and what you do with it is important. Learning yourself is, I think, the key to everything. And again, learning what are good habits that I have, what are bad habits that I have. And those are the things that watching my kids as they get into this adulting thing, or, those are a few things that I've noticed about them, and it's, so it's good and bad,
What about you, Stu?
I'm still in transition phase. Obviously I got 2 in college and one that's post-college right now. So I think I shoulder a lot of blame in my own mind, like what mark did I miss, or what did I not do, or what did I not share, or where did I go wrong? It's not what they're doing, it's really about me. And sometimes I internalize that a little bit too much, but I have to be honest too, because what I try to do is foster an environment that would be conducive for them to be able to be children and not have worries and cares about where meals are coming from.
Right.
Clothes are coming from. Right. Give them enough without giving them too much. And then, seeing the transition as it unfolds, the mistakes that I feel, and that's where I'm internalizing. I think, certain things are mistakes, and they're just like, hey, let me go to cut me loose so I can't make mistakes. And I'm like, but some of the things that you're doing is going to hold you back from getting to your ultimate goal. You can get there a lot sooner.
Right.
If we just stay the course.
Which is going to keep you in my pocket longer.
That's...
I tried to say that as kind as I
but
could. At the end of the day, it's still one of those, you're going to do it regardless.
Right. So when do you transit? Oh, no, maybe that's not the right way of saying it. When do you say enough is enough or cut that off? Because as young adults, they're going to make their own mistakes, right? But like you said, there are things that you can see. I already see 2 streets down the road what you get ready to do. And it's like, but no, they want to do it themselves, but they know most people have their parents to fall back on. When do you cut that and allow them to make that decision and deal with the consequences of whatever that is?
If there was a specific answer for that, I think everybody would be all the better for it, because you would get to that point and know this is that point. But with different kids taking different paths is different. So you have to wean them off differently. And as long as they're still being productive in what they're trying to do and they need your assistance, you feel compelled to
Right.
help. But it's when they hit that non-productivity stage
Yeah.
and, you don't see a path forward with them trying to help themselves and they still just basically draining the well, then I think you have to make a parenting decision to cut them off. And you're not doing it you're still doing it out of love because you can't keep,
Right.
supporting
Right.
something that's
Right.
not leading to something
Correct.
better. So that would be my response to it. Now, have I gotten there? No.
What about you, Shannon?
So with Naya, I always focus with her on you make your own decisions. If you need help, I will help you evaluate things, but it's still your decision. All right. So we've instilled that in her from the time she was young. Now, I'm always out here big. I'm like, hey, she's going to graduate and I'm going to give her a couple months and then she out my pocket and going about her life.
We just had this conversation yesterday.
We all know that's
She and I, yes.
we all know that's a lot. That's my baby.
That's right.
And if my baby called me, she gonna get what she needs. But there has to be a limit to that because if you are too involved and are always there to bail them out, to your point, where does it end? And at some point, you're limiting them in gaining those experiences because they're going to have kids. And then they're not going to know how to roll things down and teach their kids what they need to survive. So I've seen parents that have adult children that still are engaged in every part of their life and doing things for them, trying to help them get jobs to the point where they're online searching for their kid. Right. No, that's their job. That's their role. Everybody has to go through those kind of learning curves, right? Or if you want to go with your kid as they're looking for a new place, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll go check it out. If you're going to find your kid an apartment, no. Oh, that's too far. Right. That's too far. And that could just be me. That's my opinion. But there is a point where you're doing more harm than good. And you need to stay on the right side of that line.
And like Stewart said, every child is different. You just have to learn where that line is for each child.
Absolutely.
So
I'll tell you another thing that I think is a critical component for all of us, to be honest, because when I look at my own situation, me specifically, when I hit that pivotal moment and I told y'all I came down and I had to find my own place, my parents, in the sense of me asking them for anything, they never heard from me since that moment.
right.
That moment. You can call them and ask either of them to this day, has he ever called and needed help for anything? And they'll say no, because I never have. I would go broke before I call and anything.
Right.
I figured it out. Now, the other part, the flip side of this coin is
It shouldn't matter, but it matters.
it should
Certainly matters.
but it does.
It does.
And, to have your daughter call you up and say, hey, Dad, I know you just worked for the last 2 weeks. I'm talking about the daughter just worked for the last 2 weeks. I need some gas money. Where's your money? You going to give him a speak?
Right.
But you still going to come off that money.
That's right.
And it's like, why do I just...
Because all you can picture in your head is your baby
Being stranded.
side of the road
Stranded.
somewhere, and that ain't happening.
Not taking into account she just got paid.
Right. And that don't matter. Now, if she need gas money to get to the club, then we got to have a
That's a
conversation.
whole different stuff.
Right.
Gotta... Now, hold on. She going to work. But she going to get to work just fine. Just the balance of the gas.
Right. Man,
Oh, yeah, she's still going to the club on that gas.
yeah. So, and those are things that in everyday situations, it's always funny what goes through your mind, especially as a father, but even as an uncle. When your girls call me or your girls call me for anything, I immediately go to, oh, this must be an emergency.
Of course.
Because they reaching out to me, whether it is or not. Right. But that's what goes through your mind. But you have to temper that with they have to learn how to do for themselves.
How to
That's part of your
I don't.
as a parent.
I'll be honest, I don't. In that vein, if one of y'all kids call me, I need to make this happen.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to. It ain't no life
course.
lesson.
Yeah,
It ain't
yeah,
like.
yeah.
It ain't like I need to do better.
Right.
It's just what's wrong.
Right.
If I can fix it, let's make this.
Right.
I mean, I just had a situation like that the other day. One of my nieces came through, needed some help. Boom, boom, boom. All right, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you the next.
You make it happen.
I ain't asked a single question.
Yeah.
Okay. Provided the information they needed to be aware of, did what needed to be done, made sure that it was done properly. Out there doing it myself, the whole nine. That's my niece.
That's right.
And that's what we do.
It wasn't even no different if my own child came
Right.
at that point.
Yeah. And I just think it's hilarious how they slide things in on you, though.
Oh.
So Naya come home knowing she needs some work on her car. She knows it. She will not ask me. She'll just hand me the keys and say, can you go check my car out? I get in there. What in the hell? How did you even drive down here? But what did I do?
You did what you do.
I called Uncle Mike.
That's right.
Said, hey, bruh,
That's right.
got to bring the baby's car in.
That's right.
He's like, bring it.
Do what you got to do. Yep.
All right. So it's that time in the podcast where we switch over to Stu's question of the week. I don't even know where this is going to go. So what you got for us, bro?
Man, I had one, but then I know this is our kids watch the show.
Hey, of course. We said we keep it real.
Dun dun dun.
Nah, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm about to pivot and go to something else.
We told them, listen to them.
Oh my God, I can't do it.
Okay.
Because sometimes your words do come back.
That's right.
To you. It's like,
That's right.
Daddy do it.
With that being said,
A minute.
Naya, I just want you to know when you watch this episode, remember what your daddy said. When you graduate, he got you. Forget them 3 months. I'm just pointing that out. Oh, my bad.
That's not what I said.
I know that's not what you said. I'm talking about, making that man eat his words. I'm with you, Naya. That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
Your Uncle Mark love you. Oh,
since we talking about adulting, and I'm gonna ask you guys if you could go back to one day, and I don't want you to change a thing. This one day that you felt like this was a really good day, and that day remained exactly the way that it went, even though you understand the outcome. It was such a good day. You want to go back and enjoy that day again.
That's a good one. The first thing that popped into my head, and nothing went wrong on this day, but I don't think at the time I treated it as the moment that it should have been. But I remember my last day at A&T, North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride. My last day at A&T, I'm coming out, I'm leaving a math final. My last class, I'm done. Got my engineering degree, I'm done. And I walked out of the math building and I just looked up at the sky and took a deep breath and walked off campus. And I did not come back on campus until graduation. I should have savored that moment more, but that feeling was so incredible. I would love to experience that one more time.
interesting. So it's simple, silly, but trivial. When we were doing that whole track thing, and actually way before it even got into Tri-City when they were little, we had a moment where Candace she did run. She won. Kiera, I think, took third in a long jump, and Marie was just being Marie at that time because she was little. But we were getting ready to leave, and we had a couple of parents walk up to us and say, I love what you all are doing with it, and keep up the good work. As corny as it sounds, it just let me know being a father and being that it was just a wonderful day. It's like, okay, feel like we're doing something right here. You know what I mean? I know. So
I got
those
you.
days.
And ironically enough, mine is similar but not the same to yours. I can't say I decided. I was told that I was gonna join. That was a process. I'm here to tell you, it was illegal in every sense of the word in terms of what we went through and what we did, because we started practically November of 91, and it went all the way to November of freaking 92.
Wow.
And a whole year. But I remember specifically my last day at being online, and one of our coaches, who was also one of our fraternity brothers, had passed, Coach Sharp, and that was the night before that we learned that was our last night online, and that following day we learned that he had passed away. My dean at the time, he was like, "We're done." I hadn't rested well for a year, basically, and the sleep that I felt like a baby in a cradle.
I can understand.
I felt like a baby in a cradle, and I got up and I was so refreshed. I did not have a care in the world. And then some of my line brothers at summons us some food, because here they go starting on the next
Right.
group of people, and so we went and had a really good time. Now that right there is a day I would go back and not change a single thing, just because of the sleep I got. All that pressure being off my back.
Wow. It's a good feeling. Good feeling. I hear you.
for sure. And another pivotal moment
Oh,
in
yeah.
your life.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Everything after that day was different.
It truly was.
Yeah.
It truly was. And then after, you go through the whole process of making it official and can come out, not the closet, but just come out to the world and, just let them know that, hey, I've done this. And it was so many times I wanted to quit. That was so many times. That feeling of being done with something. I guess that's why I liken it to the same thing. The
Yeah.
pressures of that is done.
I had another good moment the other day. Is where the son I was doing some things in my little office area, and what I do is I have like a wall of fame for what my kids have done through the years, for school, academics / athletics, and so forth. And I just admired the walls of all the things that they accomplished. I thought that was just really cool. I mean, there was like a bunch of MVPs up there, all Americans, things like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
We were limited to one day.
Excuse me.
So
I hate him.
you all know who in the group takes a mile. When you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Always.
He gonna tell you about the last 10 years. Oh, that was another day, and
Ain't saying I only had one, but I wanted to,
being the oldest member
That's right.
of the Hey Unk podcast.
The other day, it's a lot of things I want to say right now, but I won't say them because
I do want
Mike
to
says
clear. I
her.
do want to clear the air though, because I did miss the last episode, and your intro
Here we go.
was not favorable.
Excuse me.
The comment that you made. So
Mm.
if you would be so kind as to indulge and share what has happened since.
Says what?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know what
Exactly what I thought.
What-
Precise.
What are you saying
Precise.
right now?
All right, so
we've had an opportunity to
Yes. So, ladies
Okay.
and gentlemen, Uncle Mark kind of put out a challenge in the last episode that Uncle Stewart would like to respond to. So, we have a friendly rivalry when it comes to the game of golf, and Mark had put something on Stewart and said he was hiding and running
kick this
scared.
butt. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, since then, it's been several weeks, and I take it you all have faced off.
there has been face off.
Yeah. And he lost, what was it? We played maybe twice?
Are you
Oh,
what?
Okay.
Come on, B.
That's right. 1-1. Okay. That's how I saw it.
That wasn't reality. But we know you got a warm sense of reality. But it was kicked.
He's not running no more.
I'm sure.
I let him win. I let him win the last one.
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Got a notepad over there, sir.
Huh?
Yeah.
What's going on?
There's nothing going on over here.
Well, let's figure out what's on your mind. We're gonna let golf go.
Okay. We're going to let
Let
golf
go.
go.
It's all right. It's okay.
When we leave,
You'll play
we
another.
either going to handle it then.
You'll play another day.
That's right.
So now we'll transition into Mark's philosophy. What you got for it?
All right, no problem. So sticking to what we've been sharing today about adulting and things like that, I just wanted to share, particularly with the young people, it's important. I think it's important that you have somebody in your life who can inspire you as well as challenge you. It's just as simple as that. always be willing to be challenged and always have somebody that's going to inspire you to meet those goals.
And that person can be your partner or your friend or your family. It could be anybody.
Yeah, it can. Actually, it could be somebody that really pisses you off, believe it or not,
So it's funny you say that. One of the women that used to work with me, she's no longer, we don't work together anymore, but she was going through some challenges, right? And I was telling her about our friendship.
Yeah.
I was like, look, you need to get some friends that will call you on your BS and be there to help you pick up the pieces at the same time.
So important.
But you have to be ready for that. Because you can't want the truth and then go, well, I ain't talking to that person no more. They told me the truth instead of what I wanted to hear. You have to be real in that relationship to get the benefits from it.
You couldn't have said it no better than that, man.
Yeah. I know you always talk about putting stuff in the vault and, with us and always being there for each other, but you have to have not only that outlet, but that reality check.
Yeah, man. If you don't have that trust, to trust that even when somebody's giving you the business, it's still coming from a place of love.
Right.
You don't have real friendships because every day in every relationship can't be peaches and cream. It's just not a reality. We're not that type of person all day, every day.
Right.
So we can't give off that kind of energy. And then we're not perfect. And then we also don't understand how we make people feel when we do or say certain things. And when they come back to us and say, hey, I felt some type of way about that. And it's not to say that, it is a way to come up, to say it.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm like, yo, that was fucked up with you. Well, we could actually say that.
We can say that to each other.
And it be okay. You'd be like, you might be a little bit of shock and awe, but like, that ain't realized.
Yeah.
But when you make that known, and if they're your people, you need to adjust, or they need to be willing to accept what you're saying and make an adjustment because they're only doing it for your good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think it's big. You kind of just said it too. When you know your people, like we know how we are, but make sure when you're addressing sometimes people, you know who they are. It's the way to communicate with people that makes a difference sometimes, because your intent is perfect, but the delivery stinks, and yeah.
Because you're kind of harsh.
Yeah.
On me sometimes.
Okay.
Because
You're
an idiot.
You are an idiot, but yeah, sorry.
But we have that relationship.
Shannon be like, bruh, you already know when Shannon ain't fit.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, I always feel like it's self-evident. Somebody's all that. Come on.
Yes, but delivery is important, people. And will I work on that with you? Absolutely not.
See the love.
See?
Feel it. Come on. Come on.
I just talked about if you say something, you want to address it and try to do better.
That's us, though. That's what we do.
That is who we are.
No, I'm not working on that, sir.
Yes. He was honest.
And he is honest about that. He is not working on that.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all joining us for this episode, and hopefully you took something away from it and can apply it to your life, your situation, your friendships, reevaluating where you are. Hit us up on our social media, on Instagram at Hey Unk Podcast, also on Facebook. We love to hear from you. You can always check us out on YouTube as well at Hey Unk Podcast. So thanks for being here with us. Thanks for engaging with the group. And fellas, until next time, peace.